Now that the 2025 NFL Draft is officially in the books, it's time to dive deep into the burning questions from Steelers Nation. And let me tell you, there's a lot to unpack. Fans are fired up, expectations are sky high, and the pressure is on. One of the very first questions I got was a bold one. If the rookie quarterback doesn't sign, would that make him the biggest villain in franchise history? Honestly, I think it would. If he decides not to put pen to paper, especially after the way he talked like Pittsburgh was where he wanted to be, it's gonna feel like a betrayal. This isn't just about a player changing his mind. It's about how the team reacted to what he said. His comments led the front office to believe that he was all in. And based on that belief, they made decisions that might come back to haunt them. They passed on every quarterback in the first round. They didn't go after a signal caller in free agency. They waited until the 6th round to select a QB. That's not a coincidence. That's commitment. And if he bails now, it's going to leave the Steelers in a messy situation. Almost a repeat of previous years when expectations were high and everything crumbled. There's a sense of deja vu here, and fans are nervous. One supporter even backed this frustration financially, saying, I hope he signs because if he doesn't, we're stuck with the same guy starting again. And that's a valid concern. We actually ran a poll recently asking fans who they'd want to start in week 1 if this rookie doesn't join. Around 60% of responses lean toward keeping the veteran. Yes, the same guy who gave us a memorable run in 2023. But let's be honest. While that run was exciting, it came against some of the weakest defenses in the league. When the playoffs came around and it mattered most, his performance dropped significantly. That's the kind of letdown that sticks with you. Now, the 6th round rookie is a fascinating project. He's got tools, some flashes on tape, and traits worth developing. But let's be realistic here. He's not ready to be the guy right now. As a backup, sure, that makes sense. If the starter goes down for a few games, he can step in, compete, maybe steal a win or two. But across an entire 17-game season, it's hard to imagine him pulling off more than 9 or 10 wins. And that's assuming things break right. And let's be honest, this fan base is tired of just enough. We're not here to be average. We want a quarterback who brings upside and sparks something special, not someone whose ceiling is simply good enough to float around. $100. That brings me to a great comment from another fan who said the draft met almost every need except for left tackle. And that maybe next year's draft is when we go after the true franchise quarterback. And honestly, that might be the most accurate take so far. It feels like the team is planning for a 2-year window. One last real push while veterans like Cam Hayward are still around. They're giving themselves a chance to compete now while setting the stage for the next chapter. That's smart roster. A building, especially when you have a bridge quarterback who can give you a fighting chance and a raw prospect waiting in the wings. Speaking of veterans, let's talk about Aaron Rodgers. If he's truly coming to Pittsburgh, there's no denying he gives us the best shot to win right now. His presence alone changes everything, from how the offense is designed to the confidence level of the entire locker room. Will Howard is also in the mix. He's got the physical tools that made him a buzzworthy prospect for a reason, and if he clicks with the coaching staff, there's a path forward. Then you've got Mason Rudolph, who's turned into a steady backup option. He might not be flashy, but he's familiar with the system and can hold things down when called upon. Quarterback management has always been a hot button issue for the Steelers, especially in recent years. If Rodgers doesn't join the team, it's going to feel like a missed opportunity, but if he does and has even one strong season, all the doubts and second guessing about the offseason will vanish. So here's the real question. Who do you think will be the starter when we reach the 2026 season? Will it still be Rodgers pushing for one more year in black and gold? Will it be Will Howard stepping into the spotlight after a year of learning and growth? Or maybe someone completely new, like Drew Aller, potentially taken in next year's draft? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this is where the debate gets real. Who should be under center for the Steelers in 2026? And let's be clear, we're not just talking about talent. We're talking about leadership, poise, and long-term stability. Now, switching gears a bit, let's talk about the running back situation. Someone asked, who's going to be the week 1 starter? And I genuinely believe we're looking at a committee. Caleb Johnson and Jaylen Warren are probably going to split the workload, and honestly, that's a pretty exciting combo. Caleb has that traditional build you want in a workhorse back. He's got power, vision, and a burst that surprises people. Just for clarity, that image floating around online isn't actually Caleb Johnson. It's Kenneth Gainwell. Easy mistake. But let's focus on the real guy. Caleb clocked over 22 miles per hour last year, multiple times. That's legit speed, and when he gets into open space, he's a nightmare to bring down. He's also got that rare ability to spot cutback lanes and bounce to the outside, a skill that Najee Harris, for all his strength, never quite mastered. Caleb isn't just fast, he's efficient. He hits holes hard, keeps his legs moving, and doesn't dance around. That's the kind of running you want in this system. And yes, I respect Jaylen Warren. You all know I've praised him many times before. He's the vet, the guy who knows the playbook and sets the tone in the locker room. But between the two, I think Caleb is about to turn some heads. He might even steal the starting role by mid-season if he keeps progressing like this. Now, about Jack Sawyer, another question came in asking how many sacks he'll rack up in his rookie year. My honest guess, fewer than 5. He's probably the 4th edge rusher in this rotation, and the coaching staff has already hinted that his main role will be run defense, not pass rushing. He's got shorter arms than you'd like for a true speed rusher, and he lacks that bend and flexibility you see in elite sack artists. That's just the reality. But what he does bring is grit. He's physical smart and doesn't shy away from contact. Think of him as someone who'll play early downs, set the edge, and let the faster guys take over on passing downs. There's nothing wrong with that. Every defense needs someone who does the dirty work. Let's not hype him up as the next TJ Watt. That's not fair to him. But he can absolutely carve out a niche as a reliable run defender. If he ends the year with 3 sacks and a bunch of key tackles on early downs, that's a win. Expectations matter, and fans need to stay grounded when it comes to players like Sawyer. He's a piece of the puzzle, not the whole picture. Another fan brought up culture, which I thought was really interesting. They said the Steelers clearly targeted guys who fit what the organization stands for, and that they were glad we passed on certain prospects who came off as selfish or me-first types. The example that got mentioned was Shador Sanders. Now, I've said before, I don't think Sanders was ever a real target for Pittsburgh. In fact, there was a recent report that said the team would have taken Will Howard in the 6th round over Sanders. And if that's true, it says a lot. You don't make that kind of decision unless you've already ruled someone out based on more than just tape. That probably means the pre-draft meeting didn't go well. Something just didn't click. Maybe it was attitude, maybe it was priorities. But whatever it was, the Steelers clearly didn't see Sanders as a fit, and they moved on. That's how the draft works. Talent matters, but character and compatibility matter too, especially in a city like Pittsburgh where blue-collar values still mean something. You want guys who are going to buy into the team-first mentality, and it seems like that was a big focus this year. We've got more topics to hit, but before I keep going, let me thank everyone who's been engaging with the content lately. The likes, the comments, the questions, it all helps more than you realize. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed because we're just getting started with off-season coverage. And if you got a hot take about the Steelers quarterback room, offensive line, or anything else, now's the time to share it. This is your space too. Speaking of hot takes, another viewer asked, if Rodgers does sign, what are the chances we actually win a playoff game? And that's a complicated one. It depends on so many variables, injuries, matchups, momentum. But the short version is this. The odds are way better with Rodgers than without him. He brings credibility. He brings experience. He's won big games. And even at this stage in his career, he still has the arm talent to make all the throws. You put him behind a line that holds up and give him a decent running game, and suddenly the Steelers are a team no one wants to face in January. That's the impact he can have. He may not be the long-term solution, but in the short term, he gives you a puncher's chance in the playoffs. And let's be real, after the last few years, that's something this fan base will gladly take. Just to be in the mix with a legit shot to make noise again, that's worth the risk. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers, and don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a move that has sent shockwaves through the NFL, quarterback Josh Allen has secured a blockbuster deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers. marking a dramatic shift in the league's power balance. The contract, reported to be worth an eye-watering amount, makes Allen one of the highest-paid quarterbacks in NFL history, further intensifying the league's already fierce competition. Allen, known for his cannon of an arm and electrifying plays, had been one of the most sought-after players in the league. His performances with the Buffalo Bills over the past few seasons, including leading them to playoff appearances and making a name for himself as a dual-threat quarterback, made him a prime candidate for a major deal. Despite multiple teams showing interest, it was the Steelers who were willing to meet Allen's lofty contract demands, proving their determination to return to Super Bowl contention. The terms of the contract are still being ironed out, but sources indicate that the agreement could see Allen earning an average of over $40 million per year, with lucrative bonuses based on performance. For the Steelers, this is a calculated gamble. The team has long been associated with strong defenses and gritty football, but their offense has often lagged behind. With Allen at the helm, they hope to reshape their identity into a more dynamic and high-powered offense, something that the franchise has lacked in recent years. The acquisition of Allen is not just a significant milestone for the Steelers, but for the entire NFL. The quarterback market has been heating up, with several high-profile deals in recent years setting new standards for player salaries. Allen's new contract is likely to set a precedent for future quarterback negotiations, with many experts speculating that other teams will have to adjust their strategies when it comes to securing top-tier talent. For the Bills, the loss of Allen is a bitter pill to swallow. The team had built his franchise around his leadership, and he had become a fan favorite in Buffalo. However, with Allen's departure, the Bills are now tasked with finding a quarterback capable of maintaining their upward trajectory. This sudden shift will undoubtedly have ripple effects across the league, particularly as other teams begin to position themselves for the post-Allen era in Buffalo. With the 2025 NFL season just around the corner, the Steelers have instantly become one of the most talked about teams. Their offense, now bolstered by one of the most talented quarterbacks in the league, will be a major storyline as fans eagerly anticipate the new chapter in Pittsburgh's storied history. As for Josh Allen, the pressure is on. The eyes of the NFL will be watching as he steps onto the field in a new uniform, ready to prove that his hefty contract is more than just a number. It's a statement of intent. The NFL just got a lot more interesting. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.